Every couple of months I get the sudden desire to completely rearrange all my furniture. I'm really heavily debating it because the things I want to move are so heavy and it's just me. But I feel like this itch won't be satisfied unless I do it. So I'm just gonna do it. This is the current living room setup. I have really tall ceilings, which has also been a big design challenge. I'm thinking I want to swap where the console is and the TV and the couch. So I just want to do a quick switcheroo. The main reason why I want to do that is because right now with the way that our dining table is placed, you can't really see the TV when you're sitting here. And also the kitchen is behind the camera, so you also can't see the TV from the kitchen. It might look horrible and I might regret it, but at least I'll know. At least I'll know. I'm wearing my Brady loop sweater. I can't remember if I came on here and showed you guys the finished product. I might have shown you guys when I was working on it, but it's done. It's been done for like 6 months now. I finished it around May, and by then it was way too warm, and this sweater is also really, really warm, so I couldn't wear it for a while, but now it's out of my closet. I really like this pattern though, and I am heavily debating making it again. I made this in a size 2 because I wanted it to be really, really oversized, and I think it definitely is very oversized, but if I were to make it again, I would make it in a size 1. I also moved around my entire living room a few days ago, so the couch now faces this way. I move around my entire living space once every 3 to 4 months. I just get really antsy, but I think this is my favorite configuration so far, because you can see the TV from everywhere in the apartment and really good lighting on the couch, and the living room versus dining room separation is really clear. I've struggled a lot with figuring out how to put all these different rooms and functions into one large rectangular space. I think so far this one's my favorite. Here's my knitting progress on the Hadley sweater. This is a Sandnes Garn pattern. Last time we checked in, I was just finishing the front right increases, so I've done that, and I've joined the 2 front panels together, or the 2 front shoulder pieces together, and now we're knitting the front panel. It's coming along nicely. I do find that because this is thicker yarn, this is like a worsted plus a lace weight, but it's pretty thick, and on 5mm needles. I am working on this, we're working through this slower than I would on something that's like a DK weight on a 4mm needles, but it's very thick, it's very squishy. This is going to be a very, very warm sweater. In terms of books, I'm currently reading 2 of them. The first one, Little by Edward Carey. I picked this up a couple years ago at Powell's in Oregon, and I just figured I either have to read it at this point or donate it. So I'm working through it. It is interesting. I think it's a very creepy book. The reason is because the characters are kind of creepy. Plus, there are illustrations in here. Look at that. There's way more too. I'm pretty sure if I just flip through it, there's little illustrations all throughout the book. And not necessarily of pretty things, cute things. It's like organs, and the book is about wax figurines. I've barely started. But so far it's about wax figurines and creating wax models of internal body organs. So All the illustrations are, as you can see. I also am reading Abigail by Magda Szabo. Also not very deep into this. I am on page 29 and starting to tab it a little bit. I'm really liking this one so far. The writing style is very enjoyable. We follow a little girl named Gina. She is the child of a general, the only child of a general. This is during World War II when the war is starting to ramp up for Hungary, and I think her dad is starting to realize that things are about to go down, so he sends Gina away to a boarding school in the middle of nowhere, and Gina is very unhappy with the whole situation. Gina's a very funny character. She's precocious and dramatic and funny and endearing, and I'm only on page 29. A couple days ago, I had the sudden urge to start working on a colorwork sweater. I just wanted something a little bit more technically challenging than stockinette, and so I was between a couple of patterns. I had them all queued up. I was between the Nova sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl, the Lumme Pullover by Sari Nordlund, the Edda sweater by Hanne Rimmen, Mikala sweater by Knit, and the Saskie Sweater by Saskie & Co. The issue is, 1, I don't want to buy new yarn, and 2, I don't want to buy a new pattern if I can help it. So really that meant that I was left between the Nova sweater, which is a free pattern, or the Saskie sweater, which the pattern I already own because I tried to start this 2 or 3 years ago. I ultimately landed on the Saskie sweater because I really want a fingering weight project right now that just feels like what I want to be working on. And so I cast this on yesterday. This is my progress. It's actually like this. This is the collar and then you work down. So what you can do in the pattern is you can cast on starting from the collar and do like a 1x1 rib, and then you work your way down to the yoke and start doing the color work and also your increases. But I wanted a fold over collar, and I also wanted a slightly wider collar than what the pattern was asking for. So I cast on, I think it was like 98 stitches, and kind of worked the pattern from there. I'm gonna go back and pick up stitches for the collar at the end. I think that'll give it the look that I want. Here are my floats. I hope they're good. Please admire them. I did try to make this sweater 2 years ago, and the reason why I stopped is because actually I might run into the same issue. I just am like charging forward blindly. But this yarn that I'm using, this red, is Rosa Pomar Mondim. I'll put the colorway below, I can't remember. It's also covered in dog hair, so please excuse that. But this yarn was bleeding pretty heavily. And again, I did a swatch last time, which is how I found out that it was bleeding. And I didn't do a swatch this time because I don't really want to. The white or the beige is leftover Fiberco Cumbria fingering, leftover from my Brady loop sweater that I did. This is all I have of it, but I think this is a perfect amount. What I might do is after the colorwork section in the body, I might block it, wet block it, and throw in like a color catcher thing and just pray that it'll work out. I'll show you the swatch that I did 2 years ago. I don't have the one that bled anymore, I think, but I'll show you the swatch. This is the swatch. At the time, I wanted to go for red bunnies and a white sort of as a main color, but I don't know why I was thinking that, because the red bunnies look honestly demonic. So I'm glad I didn't go through with that. But actually this swatch was wet blocked and you can see no bleeding. However, when I actually started to cast on the main project, I think I had set the project aside for like a week or so, and when I picked it back up, it was bleeding. The red was bleeding into the white. So I completely don't know what happened there. I genuinely don't know. I don't know why this didn't bleed and the other one did. It's a mystery, and I've decided this time around to just take my chances with it, and so far, you know, I've set it aside for a day. I don't see any issues. So I'm hoping what happened last time was just a fluke. But wow, I'm really enjoying the color work. It goes by so quickly, and it is just engaging enough to where it feels like a little bit more of a challenge than the stockinette sweater, but it's not so challenging that it requires my 100% concentration. I can give it like 60% and it'll be fine. So this has been amazing so far. I'll quickly show you my Hadley sweater too, because I have made good progress on it. This is what it looks like so far. It looks hella weird because of all of the things that are on hold. This is a stockinette sweater with 2x2 ribbing with a split hem. So I've started the split hem and I'm working on the back ribbing right now. It's gonna go for pretty long. Like, I want the ribbing to be very, very long. It does look a little weird to me right now because the front is so much shorter than the back. Can you tell? I know it's kind of hard to tell because the front is also rolling up a little bit, but the front is significantly shorter than the back. And from the pictures in the booklet, I can see that that's the intention, but I worry that I made it too short, even though I followed the measurements pretty much exactly. So maybe this is something that'll block out. I don't know, we'll have to see. I am a little bit nervous about it, so I think what I'm gonna do is after I do the back ribbing, I'm going to wet block this and stretch this to the high heavens. And if it doesn't work out, then I'm just gonna unravel. I'm a little bit more than halfway through the color work chart. I have about 20 more rows of this color work chart to go, and I really, really, really want to finish it today. So I'm going to be working very diligently towards that goal. Pink for Glinda. I'm also blocking my yoke. Very high-tech blocking mat, as you can see. Sorry about the ugly background, but I'm sitting here and I've just finished binding off the folded over collar for the Saskie sweater, and I have to show you because it looks so good and I'm so excited about it. This is what it looks like. Can you believe that I made this? I finished the colorwork section in 3 days. It went by so quickly. It was so enjoyable. I could not stop working on it. And I think I'm kind of addicted to color work right now. Oh, float check. I don't know what you're supposed to look for here, but I'm pretty proud of my floats. I was a little worried after I finished the entire color work section that I had made my floats a little too tight. Also, everything is like scrunched up on the needle, or was scrunched up on the needle. So I was really concerned about this not fitting properly. So I did an impromptu wet block. So I sort of just like put it on this counter here and stretched it and held it down with heavy objects like big books and a vase and things like that. And it worked out really well. It worked out really well. Like before I did the wet block, the bunnies did not look like bunnies. They looked a little demonic, a little messed up. And I'm really happy that now they look like normal bunnies. First of all, round of applause for the stretchy collar. Look how extra stretchy it is. I don't remember what the technique is called, but when I was doing the bind off, I added an extra wrap of yarn around the needle. That's a problem that I tend to have with my collars, is I tend to make them really tight, not intentionally, but I think I just, when I'm doing the bind off, I hold or I pull the yarn tighter or something. So I really didn't want that to happen with this sweater, and I did every single stitch in the stretchy bind off method, and it fits, and I'm really happy about that. I'm glad that I decided to go with the folded over collar because I think it gives the sweater a little bit more structure up here instead of being just one panel and kind of like loosey-goosey. But I also really just like the folded collar look. So really, really happy with this so far. I'm pretty sure I do have some colorwork mistakes in here. I think I caught one when I was laying this out to block, but it's so unnoticeable, and I figure if it still bothers me at the end when I'm done with the sweater, I can just go back and do a duplicate stitch on top and it'll be fine. I'm so happy with this. I understand now why people knit colorwork. It's so addicting. I'm at my parents' place right now. The dogs are having a play date in the backyard, and I wanted to quickly give you a knitting update because last night I spent a good amount of time spiraling, and I'm going to tell you why. So the red yarn that I'm using for my Saskie sweater is the Rosa Pomar Retrosaria Mondim, and the colorway is 303. I was actually very positive that I had 2 balls of that. Turns out I don't. And 1 ball is definitely not enough to make a sweater, no matter how cropped. So I went online last night to purchase more. They don't make this color anymore. I looked at a lot of websites. I even went on Ravelry just to see if anyone maybe was open to selling their skein, and I couldn't find anything. I did find that they have a very similar shade. It's C587, I think. Now, I can't be sure that it's the exact same shade. It's probably not, knowing how sensitive color dyeing and how color variation, even across lots, work. So I'm not very confident. But I did order 2 skeins of the C587. In some lightings, it looks extremely comparable, but again, lighting, it's subjective. I won't know for sure until I get those yarns here in person. Here's what I'm thinking. Worst case, they don't match. The reds don't match. Then I will just start over, which would be devastating, and I gave myself last night to sort of process that information. But it's okay. It's part of the journey. Frogging is part of the journey. That's how I'm trying to make myself feel better. And on the bright side, I get to do the color work all over again, and I loved the color work, so I get to relive that experience again. And if I were to knit it again, I would go up a size, because I think my current version is just a little bit on the tight-fitting, form-fitting side, and I don't really want that. So I'm trying to think of it as like, this is an opportunity for you to take what you've learned from working on this piece so far and make it even better the second time around. Now, obviously, best case scenario, the 2 reds match and it's great, and I'll proceed. I really don't want to frog everything. I don't even know how frogging color work works. It sounds kind of annoying. So best case scenario, the colors work, we proceed. Worst case scenario, we frog and we start over. And that's okay. That's okay. So while I'm waiting for the new yarn to arrive, I'm back to working on my Hadley sweater, which looks like a big old crumpled mess right now, but that's because the front panel is on hold while I'm working on the back 2x2 ribbing. I brought this with me to the theaters when we were watching Wicked 2, and I made a little bit of progress. I was focused on the movie, which I really enjoyed the movie. I do think there wasn't enough content for a full second movie, but I love the musical. I will say I didn't really like the original songs that they wrote in just for the movie. I think the OG Wicked songs are, especially compared, are just so much better, so much more iconic. Maybe it's because to me they're iconic, but the new songs just didn't hit as hard. I don't know. Anyways, I want to finish the back ribbing. I think I'm almost there, maybe another 1.5 inches. I do want the ribbing to be pretty long, and then I'll start back again on the front. This looks insane right now, so I'm gonna block it. The Hadley sweater is dry now, so let's try it on. It took the entire night and half the day today to fully dry, which is really fast because today's 80 freaking degrees Fahrenheit. And as you saw, I stretched the ever-living heck out of this. Look at how wide this collar is. It's comical. I already tried this on earlier when it was still slightly damp. Dude, I also have to say this smelled so bad. Like, I am used to the wet, cheap smell because I've done a lot of blocking in my time as a knitter, and nothing has come close to how this stank. Doesn't this look a little insane? The back is better. The back is actually at a really nice length. The front is really short, so I think I'm gonna have to knit, just stockinette a little bit more before I start doing the ribbing. Because otherwise, if I start doing the ribbing now, I guess I could do a longer ribbing and It'll still be a crop sweater, but at least the ribbing will cover it. But I feel like that'll just look kind of weird. So I think I'm gonna do a couple more rows of stockinette, even though I already split for the hem. That might just look weird too, but we'll see how it goes. Actually, what I'm gonna do first is pick up stitches for the collar and do the freaking folded collar, because this looks so strange. I think it is a feature of the sweater to have this really low neckline, because I'm looking at the pictures of the Hadley sweater in the booklet, and I'll put a picture up so you guys can see it too. The front part is pretty low. Like, it's not a very even collar. The back collar is pretty much right at the neck, and then the front sort of dips down low. I don't know if I'm explaining that super well. Again, the picture will be up. No matter how I look at it though, my front panel is definitely too short. I don't know what I did wrong, because I thought I followed this to a T, but I guess it was still a little bit too short. Super random, but I also want to show you my other whip that I don't think I've shown very often in any of these videos. This is the December bow sweater, except I did not make the bow tie feature. That is the prominent feature of the pattern. I didn't do that. I just made a plain stockinette sweater. I started this a while ago. I think I started it December 2024. I did start it in December, but it's just taken me a whole year to get to this point. And I cast off on the sleeve this morning, because at this point right now I have nothing to work on, or in the morning I had nothing to work on because the Hadley sweater was still drying. So I picked up this. It's a really old whip, and it's got the I-cord neckline. I think I made the I-cord a little too tight, so it's like scrunching up a bit here, but maybe that'll block out. I don't know. As is the case for a lot of sweaters that I make, this is also extremely cropped. Actually, here's my tank top and here's the sweater. So it's even more cropped than my cropped tank top, but it actually hits me, I think, at a great length, especially when I have these flowy lounge pants that are super high-waisted, so I think that would be perfect with this. The yarn is Szabo Knits Billow. Unfortunately, this yarn is discontinued, but it's a really, really lightweight yarn, and I wish that I had more of it, because I would love to make something else in this very lightweight yarn. It feels insane. It's so light and also not scratchy, but it's so warm. Okay, we're on the floor to get away from the weird lighting. What you can expect to see next time are updates on the Saskie sweater and this whole situation, a finished Hadley sweater, and ideally, fingers crossed, a finished December bow sweater without the bow. I also have a big project coming up where I need to sand down and repaint an IKEA bookcase, so next time maybe we'll cover some of that too. It's supposed to go on this wall right here, and it's very long, very tall. I think it's like 73 inches wide. 90 inches tall. Very, very large. Okay, that's it. See you next time.